Hi there, Fikes team. So as promised for today's Monday Motivational, I'm going to dig into a few of the inner saboteur voices that I contend with. And I also want to share that it's not incredibly comfortable for me to be shown as weak or vulnerable or that I struggle. However, I've decided that for those of you that could potentially benefit in sharing what I struggle with potentially what you struggle with, how I have dealt with it, how I've looked at changing my mindset as a result of it is worth it, because I know that you're all worth it. So in the interest of time, I'm just going to name a few voices. I can't name all 10. The first one is Jax, J-A-X, the judge. Sometimes name him Jax the jackass. And Jax judges everything I do, and nothing is enough. Nothing is ever good enough, and I'm certainly not enough. Now, to change that, I do believe that we should judge some of our actions. And I believe some of the best coaches, mentors, and individuals that are material in our life push us onward and upward to be better. But Jax doesn't look at anything I do as better. In fact, despite my effort, despite my attitude, both of which I can control, nothing is never good enough. So I have really learned, and some of you heard me say, be hard on your actions, not on yourself. It's really come from Jax's attempt to tear me down. Second, there's Procrastinator Paul. And so Procrastinator Paul comes out at times when there's something I may not want to do, whether it's uncomfortable, whether it's really early in the morning. It says things like, there's always tomorrow, you'll be fine, skip it today, who's gonna know? And Procrastinator Paul always seeks to delay my progress and impact. And the last voice I'm going to share is Vic the victim. He is the one that upholds the victim mentality, who seeks out any possible scenario of where I've been wrong, slighted, or underappreciated. And I would say of all the voices, that he's likely the one I would say that I struggle with the most of having the risk of demoralizing me, because despite my efforts and despite my intent, if something happens that's suboptimal at varying degrees, he says words like, this always happens to you, or here we go again, or that's definitely not fair. And what's interesting is that once that voice is allowed in, or I found that voice is allowed in on anything extreme, such as many years ago, a knee injury ending my college football career, or false career promises very early in my life, my wife's multi-year bout with cancer in our marriage early on, failed fertility, significant life losses, and just a son with severe learning challenges, just to name a handful, and I'll stop there. But Vic seeks out less significant occurrences. It might be something such as victimizing the fact that I am a responsible, accountable person to others, and sometimes I take on that to help impact and better others and better myself as a result, but still will try to find those little cracks of, can't that be anybody else, or why you? So what do I do to cope with that? What do I do to reframe? Next week, I'm going to dig into the opposite side of how I handle that victim mentality, that procrastinator mentality, or that judgment mentality on those triggers, such that I don't allow them to come in, or any of the occurrences to change the future outcomes, to dictate any of my self-beliefs around any of those things of what's yet to happen. And in the meantime, I'd like you all to share any of the voices that I shared that may have related to you, or any others. Do you have a judge, a procrastinator, a victim, or any other voices that you hear that you feel would be helpful for you to combat? So I look forward to all of your answers, and I look forward to talking more about this next week on how I unpack it, reframe, and refocus. And I wish you all a great start to the week. Let's go have a great week and choose what we do today and our next level of the best version of our best selves. Let's go get it. Onward and upward.